Hi, everybody. This week we are going to be talking about the digestive system. And you arrive to this course knowing some things about the digestive system, and hopefully this will refine your understanding and help you gain an appreciation of some of the things that go right and go wrong with the digestive system. So first, we just want to look at the digestive process. What is the digestive system involved in? And it's involved in ingestion, the process of taking food into the body. And then once it gets into the body, then we've got to digest it. And the digestion is breaking it down, the food down into its subunits. And this can happen through mechanical actions or chemical actions. So digestion is mechanically or chemically breaking down food into subunits. The mechanical digestion are going to be things like chewing and muscle contractions that mix the food and kind of bring it down into a softer way, a softer kind of texture. Chemical digestion is going to be involved with enzymes digesting the bigger molecules of food into the subunits. And so this is going to begin in the mouth, continue in the stomach, and it's going to, digestion is going to be complete by the time we get to the small intestine. And so you'll see that when we talk this through. Digestive systems involved in movement. And so we've got to get that food from our mouth, and then it gets processed and goes out through our anus and in the form of the feces that is what's left over undigested from the food. But we've got these muscle contractions that are going along to move that food throughout that whole digestive tract, and they do this movement happens through peristalsis. And peristalsis are these rhythmic contractions of the digestive tract. So you're going to put the food in your mouth. The first thing you're going to reach is a tube called the esophagus. And the esophagus is going to do these rhythmic kind of flowing contractions. It's going to push the food in one direction. It's going to push it from your mouth or from the top of the esophagus down to the bottom. So these are kind of rhythmic contractions. And I have some diagrams to show you that. So peristalsis is the mechanism for movement. And finally, absorption is a really important part of the digestive system because we can break down our food, but the point is to get those nutrients into our blood. And so, big part of the digestive system is getting the food into a format that we're in very small molecules that can be absorbed from our digestive tract into our cardiovascular system. And then those nutrients will be delivered to our cells. So the steps in the digestive process: ingestion, digestion, movement, and absorption. Oh, elimination. Sorry, I had one more. Elimination is just the removal of the undigested materials through through defecation, through making the feces. So we're going to talk about all these things as we go through. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to list the organs of the gastrointestinal tract in the order that they're in the body and identify them on diagrams. So you get a chance to do this. You can see this in lecture. You can see it in your book. And we do this in lab also. So first, let's just get this word gastrointestinal tract down. You might hear this called the GI tract. And this is a continuous tube from the mouth all the way through the anus. And so let's talk about the GI tract, the major, the continuous tube that goes from the mouth all the way to the anus. The gastrointestinal tract. So you put food in, you ingest it, it goes into the mouth. That food is then going to go into the throat area, which we call the pharynx. And so a lot of people just for some reason can't get this word down. We talk about the pharynx in the respiratory tract and the digestive tract, but both of them mean the throat. Your food and your air pass through this passageway. And then we go down through this tube called the esophagus. And notices here, esophagus uses peristalsis. It uses these rhythmic contractions to push your food from the top to the bottom. And then that goes into the stomach. Now, the liver's kind of blocking the top of the stomach in this picture, but there's a connection between the esophagus and the stomach. So, and we're going to talk about the details about that. And then the food's going to move from the stomach into the small intestine. So again, this tube right here goes behind this large intestine, and here's the small intestines. There's lots of small intestines, and that's continuous with the stomach. So the stomach, small intestines, and then that after the food moves through there, it's going to get transfer into this large intestine, and you can see the large intestine kind of goes up, across, and down. The end portion of the large intestine is called the rectum, where the feces are stored, and then the anus is the muscle that prevents it all from coming out when you don't want it to. So when I'm asking you what are the organs of the gastrointestinal tract, the GI tract, it's a continuous tube from the mouth to the esophagus, to the stomach, to the small intestines, to the large intestine, to the rectum, to the anus. There's also some organs that we call accessory organs. So these are organs that help the digestive process, but aren't part of this continuous tube that we call the GI tract or the gastrointestinal tract. So the accessory organs we're going to talk about are the salivary glands. And we've got 3 pairs of salivary glands in our associated with our mouth. The liver right here, that giant organ right there, our largest organ. The gallbladder, we're going to talk a little bit about that, tucked up under the liver. And the pancreas is down here, tucked under the stomach. So we'll talk about all those, and those are the accessory organs. So make sure you can find those on diagrams. I think we'll stop right there.